Have you ever noticed how some people only understand one thing? Silence backed by strength? Not anger, not arguments, not explanations, but the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth. You've been disrespected before. Someone talked over you, mocked you, dismissed you, treated your presence like it didn't matter. And maybe, for a moment, you believed them. But here's the truth. The problem was never your value. The problem was their comfort in crossing a line you never clearly drew. Today, that changes. Because Stoicism teaches a powerful lesson. You don't fight disrespect with noise. You end it with controlled silence. And in this video, you'll learn 6 silent moves so effective, so calm, so undeniably powerful, that people will think twice before ever disrespecting you again. Let's begin. Move 1. The silent stare. Most people think power is expressed through volume, arguments, or sharp comebacks. But the strongest people in any room rarely raise their voice. They don't rush to defend themselves. They don't scramble to sound intelligent or prove a point. They use something far more unsettling: the silent stare. A calm, unwavering look that tells the other person, "I see exactly what you're doing, and it no longer moves me." Disrespect thrives on emotional reaction. When someone interrupts you, mocks you, or throws a passive-aggressive jab, what they're really fishing for is your energy, your frustration, your defensiveness, your need to be understood. The moment you react, you've entered their arena. You've given them exactly what they wanted. Proof that they can influence your emotional state. That's why the silent stare is so devastating. It denies them the one thing they were trying to extract. Imagine this. You're in a meeting, speaking calmly, making your point. Then someone cuts you off with a sarcastic remark. The old version of you might have rushed to respond, to correct them, to justify yourself, but the stoic version of you simply stops and looks at them, not with anger, not with fear, with complete clarity. A steady, controlled gaze that lasts 2 or 3 seconds. Long enough for them to feel the weight of your presence. Long enough for them to realize they overstepped. Long enough to throw their confidence off balance. Because here's the secret. People who disrespect others do not expect to be met with calm authority. They expect irritation, defensiveness, or emotional collapse. But when your response is silence, paired with composure, the dynamic flips instantly. They become the one who feels exposed. They become the one who feels small. They become the one who suddenly questions themselves. The silent stare doesn't attack. It reveals. It forces them to confront the ugliness of their behavior without you saying a single word. Stoicism teaches that the person who controls themselves controls the room. Your eyes communicate more than any speech ever could. I don't need to match your chaos. I don't need to chase respect. I'm centered, and your behavior reflects only you, not me. That is psychological strength. That is emotional discipline. And that is why the silent stare is one of the most powerful moves you can use. To master it, there are 3 steps. First, pause. Do not react. Let the moment breathe. That pause alone already disrupts their rhythm. Second, hold eye contact, steady, neutral, grounded. Not aggressive, not intimidating, simply present. The goal is not to dominate. The goal is to convey unshakable self-respect. Third, speak only when you choose to, not when you are triggered. Resume your sentence calmly, or let silence speak for you. Either way, you're showing that your emotional state is not available for manipulation. And watch what happens. The room shifts. The person who tried to disrespect you feels their own discomfort rise. They sense they've crossed into territory they can't control. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their pettiness, insecurity, or impulsiveness back at them. And the best part, you didn't lose your center. You didn't betray your dignity. You didn't drop into their level. You stayed still, and stillness is intimidating to the unstable. Use the silent stare the next time someone tests your boundaries. Let them feel the calm strength of someone who refuses to be provoked. You don't need to raise your voice to raise your value. Sometimes, the quietest reaction delivers the loudest lesson. Move. 2. Zero defense mode. There is a moment, right after someone disrespects you, when your mind wants to jump into self-protection. You want to explain, you want to defend yourself, you want to prove them wrong. That instinct is natural, but it is also exactly what gives the other person power. Because the moment you defend yourself, you've accepted their frame. You've agreed, unconsciously, that they have the authority to judge you, and you must justify your existence before them. Stoic strength works differently. It teaches you that not every accusation deserves an answer. Not every challenge deserves your energy, and not every disrespect warrants a presentation about who you are. This is where zero defense mode becomes one of the most powerful moves in silent communication. Instead of arguing, explaining, or trying to fix their perception, you respond with stillness and clarity. You allow their words to fall flat without giving them the satisfaction of emotional engagement. Picture a situation you've experienced. A co-worker makes a snide comment about your abilities. A friend throws a passive-aggressive jab. Someone questions your decisions, your lifestyle, or your intelligence. Instantly, your mind searches for the perfect comeback. But the Stoic version of you does something different. You simply say, "Noted." Or, if that's how you see it. Nothing more. You don't justify. You don't debate. You don't dive into the exhausting loop of trying to win their approval. You let their words live and die on their own. Here is the psychological truth. Most disrespect is bait. The person doesn't want information. They want a reaction. They want to feel superior. They want to pull you out of your calm center. That's why zero defense mode hits them harder than any argument. You refuse the bait. You show them, your opinion is your opinion. My reality is my reality. I do not perform for your validation. When you don't defend yourself, you subtly communicate 3 powerful messages. First, you are not intimidated. Defensive people look guilty or insecure, even when they are not. Calm non-reaction communicates strength. Second, you don't depend on their approval. Nothing shakes someone more than realizing their judgment has zero influence over you. Third, you control the frame. When you refuse to engage on their terms, you reclaim the psychological upper hand. Stoicism reminds us, if it's true, live it. If it's false, ignore it. The wise do not waste breath correcting the foolish. They let time reveal what words cannot. Zero defense mode is not silence out of fear. It is silence out of mastery. It is knowing when a conversation is not worth having, when a critic is not worth addressing, when a disrespect is not worth carrying. It is the art of protecting your peace without ever appearing defensive, desperate, or shaken. To use this move effectively, practice 3 steps. Step 1. Detach internally. Before responding, take 1 breath. Separate their words from your identity. Step 2. Respond minimally. Choose short, neutral lines. Okay. Understood. All right. These phrases shut down escalation and reveal nothing. Step 3. Return to your focus. Continue what you were doing. Do not reward disrespect with attention. The effect is immediate and unsettling. The one who tried to provoke you becomes confused. They expected resistance, emotion, or explanation. Instead, they receive quiet composure. They are forced to sit with their own behavior, something most people cannot tolerate. Remember, people only control you when you fight for their approval. When you stop defending yourself, you stop giving them access to your self-worth. And in that silence, they realize something powerful. You are not someone who bends because of noise. You are someone who stands firm in truth. Move. 3. Walk away, power. There is a point in every interaction where words no longer matter. The disrespect is clear. The intention is obvious. The other person is no longer trying to understand you. They are trying to shake you, provoke you, or assert dominance. Most people stay in the argument, hoping it will magically resolve. They raise their voice, explain harder, try to win the moment. But Stoic discipline teaches a different response. Leave. Not in anger, not in panic, but in complete, deliberate calm. This is the power of the walk away. Walking away is one of the strongest silent moves you can use because it attacks the ego of the disrespectful person without you having to do anything aggressive. People expect you to cling to the conversation. They expect you to chase resolution, closure, or fairness. They expect you to fight for their understanding. When you don't, when you simply rise, step back, and exit the moment, you communicate a truth that hits deeper than any comeback. Your behavior doesn't earn continued access to me. Imagine someone raising their voice to you or mocking you in front of others. The old version of you may have tried to fix the situation, argue back, or make them see your side. But the Stoic version of you pauses, gathers your calm, and says, "I'll step away from this conversation," then walks. The silence of your absence becomes louder than your presence ever could. Suddenly, they no longer have an audience. They no longer have control. They face only themselves. Why is this so effective? Because disrespect needs participation. It needs you to stay. Without your engagement, their power collapses. In psychology, we call this removing reinforcement. In Stoicism, it is simply choosing what is within your control, your distance, your energy, your boundaries. The moment you walk away, you break the dynamic completely. You turn the game off. But walking away is not running away. It is a strategic retreat, a conscious act of self-respect. It says, "I don't engage in dishonor. I don't reward chaos. I choose my peace." And that message lingers. Even after you are gone, they replay the moment, wondering why you didn't react, why you didn't fight, why you didn't care enough to stay. And that is when regret begins to settle in. Regret for crossing a line they never had permission to cross. Stoicism teaches that the ultimate power is control over your own presence. You decide where you stand, how long you stay, and when you leave. No one gets to hold you hostage in an emotional battlefield. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should never allow our peace to depend on another person's temper. Walking away embodies that wisdom perfectly. To master the walk-away move, follow 3 steps. First, recognize the moment of diminishing returns. When the conversation shifts from clarity to chaos, that's your cue. Second, stay calm. No sighing, no eye-rolling, no dramatic gestures. Power is communicated through steadiness. Third, exit with clarity. A simple line like, "I'm stepping away from this," or "We'll talk when respect is present," is enough. Then walk, slowly, confidently, without looking back. The absence of urgency shows you're not escaping. You're choosing. What happens next is predictable. People who rely on disrespect lose their footing. Some become embarrassed. Some soften. Some rethink their behavior. And some reveal their true nature by escalating further, confirming that walking away was the right decision. Walking away is not about punishing others. It is about protecting yourself. It is the ultimate expression of internal authority, knowing that you are never obligated to remain in a space that dishonors who you are. You don't need to argue to prove your strength. You don't need to convince anyone of your value. You simply decide, "I refuse to stay where respect does not exist." That decision alone builds a reputation people quickly learn not to test. Move. 4. The one-sentence wall. There is a moment when someone keeps pushing, questioning your decisions, twisting your words, or trying to drag you into an argument you never agreed to have. They keep pressing because they believe they can wear you down. They believe that if they talk long enough, you'll break, you'll explain, you'll react, you'll surrender your boundaries. This is where most people lose control. By giving too many words to someone who hasn't earned them? Stoic mastery offers a different tool, the one-sentence wall. A short, firm, neutral statement that ends the conversation without anger, without drama, and without losing your center. It's not a threat, it's not an insult, it's a boundary. And boundaries, when delivered with calm authority, are immovable. The one-sentence wall sounds like this. I'm not discussing this. That doesn't work for me. I've already made my decision. I'm done with this conversation. 10 words or fewer, clear, unemotional, final. People who disrespect you thrive on back and forth. They want to pull you into loops of defending, justifying, clarifying, arguing. The more you talk, the more material they have to twist. The more emotion you show, the more control they gain. But a one-sentence boundary cuts the oxygen out of the entire interaction. It doesn't give them anything to push against. It's like swinging at a wall. They feel the impact, but you feel nothing. Consider this example. Someone insists that your choice is wrong. Maybe it's about your relationship, your career, your finances, your lifestyle. They keep asking, but why? But what about? But don't you think? The old you might have fallen into the trap of explaining every angle. But the Stoic version of you simply says, my choice is final, and then stops talking. No elaboration, no defense, no emotional leakage. The silence after your sentence becomes the message. Why does this work so powerfully? Because boundaries make people confront themselves. When you stop feeding the conversation, they hear their own behavior echo back at them. They feel the imbalance. They recognize they're pushing without permission. Your calm forces them to see the absurdity, the disrespect, or the immaturity in their own approach. Stoicism teaches that clarity is a form of strength. You do not need to justify your decisions to anyone who has not earned that privilege. You do not need to entertain conversations that drain your spirit. You do not need to open yourself to people who weaponize your vulnerability. A boundary is not cruelty. It is self-respect in its purest form. To master the one-sentence wall, follow 3 principles. First, keep it short. Long explanations weaken your stance. Short lines communicate conviction. The boundary must feel like a closed door, not an invitation to negotiate. Second, deliver it with a neutral tone. Not irritated, not sarcastic, not defensive. The real power comes from your calm. A boundary spoken without emotional turbulence is impossible to manipulate. Third, do not break the silence after delivering it. This is the hardest part for many people. They feel the pressure to fill the space, to soften the boundary, to explain more. Don't. Let the silence work. Let the discomfort fall on them, not on you. Watch how people respond. Those who respect you will adjust immediately. They'll back off. They'll calm down. They'll accept your clarity. Those who grow more aggressive reveal their true nature and show you exactly who should not have access to your emotional world. The one-sentence wall doesn't end conversations. It ends disrespect. It teaches people how to interact with you. It tells them, I'm not here to be pulled into chaos. I'm not here to be drained. I'm not here to debate my worth. It tells them that you operate from inner authority, not external approval. And once you start using it, you'll notice something remarkable. People choose their words more carefully around you. They think twice before crossing your boundaries. They realize that you cannot be pushed, provoked, or controlled. Because you've built something they can't climb over. A wall made of self-respect. Spoken in one sentence. Move. 5. Energy withdrawal. Not every battle is won by confrontation. In fact, some of the most powerful victories happen quietly, when you stop giving someone access to the one thing they crave most, your energy. Disrespect needs fuel. It needs attention, reactions, emotional investment, and constant engagement. When you pull those away, the entire dynamic collapses. This is the essence of energy withdrawal. A silent move so effective that the other person often doesn't realize what's happening until it's too late. Think about the people who've disrespected you. They may not have apologized, they may not have changed, but they always expected one thing: your continued participation. They assumed you'd keep texting back, keep explaining, keep showing up, keep caring. They assumed your energy was automatic, guaranteed, unconditional. And that assumption is exactly what needs to break. When you withdraw your energy, you're not punishing them, you're protecting yourself. You're no longer pouring effort into conversations that go nowhere, relationships that drain you, or interactions that chip away at your dignity. You stop feeding what diminishes you. You redirect your emotional resources toward things that strengthen your mind, your peace, and your evolution. And nothing confuses a disrespectful person more than losing access to the energy they took for granted. Imagine someone who used to mock you, take advantage of you, or dismiss you. Instead of confronting them endlessly, you simply stop responding with depth. Your replies become shorter. Your availability becomes selective. Your emotional openness becomes reserved for those who deserve it. You no longer initiate. You no longer chase. You no longer offer explanations or reassurance. You simply show, through your actions, that your world no longer revolves around them. And here's the fascinating part. Silent withdrawal forces them to face themselves. It exposes the imbalance they had grown comfortable with. They feel the space widening. They feel their influence fading. They feel the power dynamic shifting, and they cannot control it. Because you're not fighting them, you're outgrowing them. Stoicism teaches that what you nourish grows and what you starve withers. Negative people, manipulative people, disrespectful people, none of them thrive without engagement. Your attention is a currency. Your energy is a resource. Your time is a privilege. When you reclaim those, you reclaim your life. To master energy. Withdrawal. Focus on 3 practices. First, reduce emotional responses. Don't give them the excitement, the frustration, or the intensity they seek. Keep your tone calm. Keep your messages neutral. Keep your reactions minimal. The less emotional energy you provide, the less power they hold. Second, reallocate your attention. Fill your time with meaningful work, personal goals, fitness, learning, better relationships, and self-improvement. When your life is full, you naturally stop giving energy to people who subtract rather than add. Third, stay consistent. Disrespectful people often test boundaries. When they notice you withdrawing, they may try to pull you back in with compliments, guilt, provocation, or sudden affection. Don't fall for the cycle. Guard your energy with the same seriousness you'd guard your home. The silent message your energy withdrawal sends is profound. I'm no longer available for chaos. I'm no longer participating in my own disrespect. I'm choosing myself. And here's what always happens sooner or later. They feel the loss. They feel the absence. They feel the shift in power. And they realize, perhaps for the first time, that disrespect has consequences. But the beauty of energy withdrawal is this. You don't need them to regret anything for you to move forward. Their regret is their journey. Your peace is yours. Once you learn to protect your energy, you stop begging for respect because you finally understand that your silence, your distance, and your absence are some of the most powerful teachers they will ever meet. Move 6. Unbothered execution. There is a level of silence so powerful, so unsettling, that it doesn't just make people regret disrespecting you, it makes them realize they never truly knew your strength in the first place. This silence is not passive, it is not avoidance. It is the silence of someone who has redirected every ounce of their energy into progress, not reaction. This is the silent move called unbothered execution. The ability to continue building your life as if their disrespect never even grazed you. When someone tries to tear you down, they always expect the same reactions: anger, defensiveness, emotional collapse, or desperate attempts to be understood. They expect you to freeze or fall apart. They expect you to stop moving. Why? Because disrespect is designed to distract you, to pull your focus away from your future and drag you into petty battles of the present. But when you keep moving forward, when you continue working, growing, and improving without hesitation, you deliver a message far louder than confrontation ever could. You cannot stop me. You never could. Imagine a co-worker who spoke down to you, a friend who betrayed your trust, a partner who underestimated your value, or a stranger who tried to belittle you. Instead of proving anything to them, you turn inward. You invest in your mind, your health, your craft. You get stronger, wiser, calmer. You build new habits. You build new standards. You build a life that reflects discipline rather than drama. And slowly, the world notices. Your silence becomes a spotlight, and it shines directly on their pettiness. While they remain stuck in emotional noise, you rise through action. While they gossip, you grow. While they wait for your reaction, you deliver results. Stoicism teaches this beautifully. The best revenge is not to be like the one who wronged you. When you embody this, you flip the entire narrative. Their disrespect becomes irrelevant because your evolution overshadows it completely. Unbothered execution is not about pretending you aren't hurt. It's about choosing a response that protects your dignity and expands your future. It means channeling pain into productivity. It means letting disappointment sharpen your focus. It means recognizing that your destiny is far too important to be derailed by someone who doesn't even respect themselves. There are 3 aspects to mastering this move. First, prioritize self-development above emotional reaction. Every time someone disrespects you, you have a choice. Stay stuck in the story or use the energy to level up. Read more, train harder, learn faster, build momentum in silence. Let your improvement speak for you. Second, let your actions correct the narrative. People may doubt you, but results erase doubt. When someone disrespects you, don't explain why they're wrong. Simply become someone they can no longer reach. Outgrow the version of yourself they thought they were talking to. Third, detach from outcomes and opinions. The unbothered mind does not seek validation or revenge. Your focus stays on the process, your routines, your rituals, your standards. People stop disrespecting those who refuse to be emotionally moved by disrespect. And here's the silent truth. Nothing shakes a disrespectful person more than watching someone they underestimated transform into someone unrecognizable, calmer, stronger, untouchable. Not because of anger, not because of vengeance, but because of inner mastery. When you practice unbothered execution, you no longer waste time proving your worth. You live it. And when you live it consistently, their disrespect becomes meaningless background noise against the sound of your progress. Let them talk. Let them mock. Let them doubt. You're too busy becoming someone they wouldn't dare disrespect again. That is the power of the move. That is the power of Stoic silence. You've just learned 6 silent moves that don't require anger, arguments, or emotional chaos. Only discipline, self-respect, and the calm authority of a Stoic mind. Because in the end, power isn't about how loudly you respond. It's about how clearly you draw the line. Remember, the silent stare shows you cannot be shaken. Zero defense mode proves you owe no one an explanation for your worth. Walking away protects your peace. The one-sentence wall guards your boundaries. Energy withdrawal reclaims your life, and unbothered execution transforms you into someone they never expected you to become. You don't rise by fighting every disrespect. You rise by becoming unreachable to anything beneath your standards. So choose one move from today's video and apply it this week. Watch how people treat you differently when you stop giving access to your emotions, your time, and your energy. If this video empowered you, like it, share it, and comment below. I choose silent strength. And make sure to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom to build the strongest version of yourself. Your silence is not weakness, it's your evolution.